Disneyland Paris is known as the happiest place in Europe, but hidden among the fairy tales, pirates and abandoned hotels are some surprisingly creepy attractions. Today we're counting down the 5 creepiest rides in Disneyland Paris, ranking them by their story, atmosphere, ride experience and overall ability to make your skin crawl. And trust me, one of the bonus mentions might be more disturbing than anything in the top 5. Before we begin, we're going to be marking each ride on story out of 10 points, atmosphere out of 10 points, ride experience out of 10 points, for a total of 30 points overall. So, we are here at
Disneyland Paris,
and we're going to count down the top 5 creepiest rides in the park.
Which rides in Disneyland Paris have got the serious creep factor?
And stick around because we've got a few bonus honourable mentions in there as well that might not be outrightly creepy, but they're still creepy. So, let's get into it.
Let's do this.
So, our first one.
Number 5.
Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. Now, this is originally Disney's darkest animation, with death imagery throughout. So, let's have a look.
Let's have a look.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, said I was the fairest of them all. But that old queen, she just couldn't see what a young girl meant to be.
At first glance, Snow White might seem like an odd choice for the list. After all, it's one of Disney's most beloved fairy tales. But look a little closer and you'll find it's a story filled with jealousy, dark magic, murder plots, and a terrifying old witch determined to claim an innocent life. Hidden behind the colourful storybook facade is a surprisingly sinister attraction that has frightened generations of young Disney fans. Coming in at number 5 is Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. Released in 1937, Snow White was Disney's very first animated feature, and despite its reputation as a family classic, it's packed with surprisingly dark themes. The evil queen becomes consumed by her obsession with beauty, orders Snow White's death and ultimately transforms herself through dark magic into the terrifying old hag. Even by today's standards, some of those scenes remain genuinely unsettling. The attraction captures much of that darkness. As your minecart ventures through the story, you're quickly drawn into shadowy forests, eerie castles, and encounters with the witch herself. One of the reasons this ride remains effective is that the witch seems to appear around every corner, creating a sense that she's always watching and always one step ahead. While new attractions often rely on technology and special effects, Snow White proves that atmosphere can be just as effective. The dark lighting, twisted trees and haunted scenes made this one of Fantasyland's most unexpectedly creepy experiences. Beb's life score? Story, 7 out of 10. Atmosphere, 8 out of 10. Ride, 5 out of 10. Which gives it a total of 20 out of 30. I'm a real boy!
Of course, it's number 4, Pinocchio. Now, The Voyages of Pinocchio. Is this one creepy?
Let's go and have a look at this one, shall we?
You walk in the pine with varnish for skin, a lantern for a heart, and a name tucked in. The old ash mouth whispered, "Come inside." So we walked through the snow like a child in a lie.
Most Disney stories end with a happily ever after. Pinocchio, however, takes a much darker route to get there. Along the way, we're introduced to kidnappers, con artists, children lured into temptation, and one of the most disturbing concepts ever featured in a Disney film: boys transformed into donkeys with no way back. Behind the cheerful music and colourful sets lies a surprisingly unsettling adventure. At number 4, it's Pinocchio's Journeys. The original story of Pinocchio is already darker than many people remember. Pinocchio spends much of the story being manipulated by people who want to use him for their own gain. He constantly faces temptation and poor choices, and the consequences are often severe. The most disturbing section is undoubtedly Pleasure Island. Children are encouraged to break rules, indulge every bad habit, and do whatever they want. What seems like freedom quickly becomes a nightmare as they begin transforming into donkeys. It's a scene that has left an impression on Disney fans for decades. The ride brings these moments to life with dark environments, looming figures, and dramatic lighting. Unlike many Fantasyland attractions that focus on wonder and adventure, Pinocchio often feels tense and uneasy. There's a sense throughout the attraction that something bad is about to happen, and usually it does. Its compact length means the scares come quickly and the ride wastes little time plunging guests into some of Disney's darkest storytelling. Beb's life score: story, 8 out of 10. Atmosphere, 7 out of 10. Ride score, 6 out of 10. Giving us a total of 21 out of 30.
Number 3. Where could we be?
Could have been Cornwall with that. We're here. Pirates of the Caribbean, our third selection. So, let's have a look at everything pirates.
Yes.
Arr.
Arr.
Hoist me low, take me slow, like sea, let the dead men go. Hoist me low, take me slow. We row, we never reach home. Never reach home, never reach home.
Pirates of the Caribbean is often remembered as a swashbuckling adventure filled with treasure, rum, and unforgettable music. But beneath the excitement lies a world consumed by death and decay. Skeletons remain trapped where they fell. Ghostly warnings echo through dark caverns. An entire pirate town appears, frozen in its final moments. The Disneyland Paris version takes the atmosphere to another level, creating one of the most immersive and eerie experiences in the park. At number 3, it's Pirates of the Caribbean. Before the lively pirate battles and iconic music begins, guests are taken on a journey through darkness. Deep beneath the fort, ancient skeletons sit surrounded by treasure they can never spend. Some appear to be reaching for riches, even in death, while others remain frozen at their final moments. What begins as a ghost story gradually transforms into a living pirate adventure, almost as though you're travelling backwards through time to witness the golden age of piracy before eventually returning to the present. The Disneyland Paris version is particularly effective because of the scale. Massive caverns, detailed pirate ships, and sprawling village scenes make the attraction feel believable. Every corner is packed with details, and the darkness between scenes helps create a constant sense of mystery. Although it's often viewed as an adventure ride, many guests forget just how eerie large portions of Pirates really are. The combination of death, isolation, and haunting visuals earns it a well-deserved place in our top 3. Beb's Life score. Story, 8 out of 10. Atmosphere, 10 out of 10. Ride, 9 out of 10, making it a total of 27 out of 30.
parle de là. Vas-tu parler, Vermine? Un chien. Parler. C'est nul. J'aurais pas laissé ici. Qui offre 6? Gardez votre forme, les gars. C'est de l'or que je veux. Qui dit mieux? Une fois? Deux fois? Ouais, ça va la routine! Oh, c'est la vente commence! Et par Saint-Georges, cette fripouille de capitaine Jack Sparrow ne mettra jamais la main dessus. Tais-toi, petit.
C'est un bien beau restaurant, en effet. N'est-il pas vrai, mon petit troubadour bleu?
Take up me hands, yo. Yo, ho, yo, ho, a party sight for me.
Tu connais ces chansons, Perroquet? Chante avec nous si tu as envie.
So, number 2 on the list is Phantom Manor.
So let's see why this has got the creep factor.
Perched high above Frontierland sits a house that many guests walk past without ever realising the tragedy hidden within its walls. Unlike other haunted mansions around the world, Phantom Manor tells a much darker tale, a story of heartbreak, mysterious deaths, restless spirits, and a bride forever waiting for a wedding day that never came. Every room, every ghost, and every haunting melody contributes to one of Disney's most tragic stories. Taking the number 2 spot, it's Phantom Manor. What makes Phantom Manor special is that it isn't simply a collection of spooky scenes. It tells a connected story deeply rooted in a mythology of Frontierland and Thunder Mesa. At the centre of that story is Melanie Ravenswood. Every man she falls in love with mysteriously dies before they can marry. Melanie remains trapped in the manor, endlessly waiting for a wedding that will never happen. The attraction masterfully builds this narrative through its environments. The stretching room sets the tone immediately, while the haunting image of the bride becomes a reoccurring presence throughout the experience. As guests travel deeper into the manor, they encounter ghostly apparitions, crumbling hallways, and eventually the doomed town beyond. Perhaps the most impressive achievement of Phantom Manor is its atmosphere. The lighting, the music, and the storytelling all work perfectly together, creating an attraction that feels genuinely tragic rather than simply scary. It isn't just a haunted house. It's a ghost story filled with loss, obsession, and despair. Beb's Life score: story, 10 out of 10. Atmosphere, 10 out of 10. And ride score, 9 out of 10. Giving us a total of 29 out of 30.
There is much to see, so look alive and stay together. I'd hate to lose you so soon. N'ayez pas peur. Allez-y, avancez.
creatures of fright, we summon you now to dance through the night. Esprits et fantômes, sur vos fiers destriers, escortez dans la nuit la belle fiancée. Warlocks and witches, answer this call. Your presence is wanted at this ghostly ball. Des 12 coups de minuit aux matines sonnantes, nous valserons ensemble. Macabre irritante. Join now.
Just before we get to our number one creepiest attraction at Disneyland Paris, I wanted just to stop and have a look at a couple of honourable mentions. Tucked away beside Phantom Manor lies one of the most overlooked creepy locations in Disneyland Paris, Boot Hill. Unlike many spooky areas throughout the resort, Boot Hill doesn't rely on jump scares or special effects. Instead, it's the atmosphere that makes it memorable. Weathered gravestones, eerie epitaphs, and the looming presence of Phantom Manor create the feeling that you've wandered into a forgotten cemetery from the Old West. The location also ties directly into the story of Thunder Mesa and Phantom Manor, adding another layer of tragedy to the area's rich lore. Guests who take the time to read the gravestones will discover plenty of dark humour, but there's also an undeniable sense of melancholy throughout the cemetery. It's not an attraction that most guests rush to experience, but for those who appreciate Disneyland Paris' storytelling and attention to detail, Boot Hill is one of the most atmospheric and underrated locations in the park. And if you're visiting after dark, with Phantom Manor towering overhead and the sound of Frontierland fading into the distance, it's easy to see why some guests consider Boot Hill one of the creepiest places in Disneyland Paris.
Beneath the beauty of Sleeping Beauty's castle lies something many guests don't even know exists. Hidden away in darkness, a gigantic dragon sleeps beneath the kingdom above. Its glowing eyes, rumbling growls, and cavernous lair make it one of the most atmospheric hidden experiences in Disneyland Paris. What's particularly interesting is that despite its location beneath Sleeping Beauty's castle, this isn't actually Maleficent in dragon form. According to the attraction's backstories, this is Merlin's dragon, a legendary creature that has slumbered beneath the castle for centuries. That little detail makes the encounter feel even more mysterious. This isn't a Disney villain waiting to be defeated, it's an ancient beast hidden beneath the kingdom, existing long before many of the stories told above it. The combination of darkness, medieval architecture, echoing caves, and the sheer size of the animatronic creates an experience that feels genuinely intimidating. If Le Tanière du Dragon were technically a ride, it would almost certainly have earned a place somewhere on the list. And honestly, if I stumbled across this thing in a real cave, I'd be running back to Fantasyland faster than you can say bibbidi bobbidi boo.
This attraction was never intended to be scary. In fact, it's designed to celebrate happiness, unity, and childhood wonder. But when thousands of dolls stare endlessly into the distance while the same song repeats over and over again, it's easy to see why some guests find it more unsettling than charming. Perhaps the creepiest attraction on this list wasn't trying to be creepy at all. Originally created for the 1964 New York World's Fair, It's a Small World was designed as a celebration of cultures from around the globe. Walt Disney wanted guests to leave with a sense of optimism, and for many people that was exactly what the attraction delivered. Bright colours, cheerful music, and smiling dolls have made it into one of Disney's most iconic attractions. However, for others, the experience can feel surprisingly eerie. Part of that comes down to the sheer scale of the attraction. As your boat drifts through scene after scene, you're surrounded by hundreds upon hundreds of dolls, all moving in perfect synchronization. No matter where you look, another pair of eyes seems to be looking back. It's not difficult to understand why the attraction has gained a reputation online as one of Disney's most unintentionally creepy experiences. Then there's the music. It's a Small World. It's one of the most recognisable songs in theme park history, but hearing the same melody repeated continuously throughout the attraction can have a very different effect depending on your mood. For some it's nostalgic and comforting. For others, it feels like the soundtrack to a dream that's gone on a little too long. What makes the attraction particularly fascinating is how divided opinions are. Some guests leave smiling, while others immediately start making jokes about being trapped inside forever. Very few Disney attractions create such dramatically different reactions. Of course, we're mostly having a bit of fun here. It's a Small World isn't intended to frighten anyone, and that's exactly why it earns this bonus mention. Unlike every other attraction on this list, its unsettling reputation wasn't created by Imagineers trying to tell a spooky story. It happened entirely by accident. And maybe that's what makes it so memorable, because while Phantom Manor and Tower of Terror are designed to be creepy, It's a Small World somehow managed to gain that reputation all on its own. Or perhaps it's just the song. You know the one. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. Actually, let's move on before that gets stuck in everyone's head again.
So we have come to our number one. Oh, so we have voted Tower of Terror to be the creepiest
Of all the rides
Yes.
here at Disneyland Paris. So, located in Disney's Adventure World.
So let's take a look at this one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there will be no footage for this ride because it's so creepy, you're not even allowed to film on it. So now we're going to take a look. Few attractions in Disneyland Paris manage to create fear before you've even stepped inside. Looming over the park skyline, the Hollywood Tower Hotel stands abandoned, silent and frozen in time. The guests who entered on one fateful night were never seen again, and those brave enough to investigate soon discover that this isn't just a ride, it's an encounter with the unknown, combining a chilling backstory, incredible atmosphere and a genuine heart-racing thrills. Our number one creepiest attraction in Disneyland Paris is the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. The moment you approach the hotel, it feels different. The architecture stands in stark contrast to the rest of the park. Cracked walls, faded paint, and an overwhelming sense of abandonment suggest that something terrible happened here long ago. Inside, the story unfolds through the hotel's neglected lobby. Dust-covered furniture, old suitcases, and eerie silence creates the impression that time itself stopped on the night of the mysterious incident. Unlike many Disney attractions, much of the fear comes from what you don't see. Your imagination fills in the blanks. Then comes the ride itself. While Phantom Manor tells a tragic ghost story, Tower of Terror places you directly inside one. The anticipation builds as the elevator ascends. The tension rises with every passing second, and then, without warning, you're plunged into darkness. It's the only attraction on this list that combines psychological atmosphere with genuine physical fear. The story is compelling, the setting is unforgettable, and the ride experience creates reactions that few Disney attractions can match. For those reasons, Tower of Terror earns our number one spot as the creepiest attraction in Disneyland Paris. Beb's Life score? Story, 9.5 out of 10. Atmosphere, 10 out of 10. Ride, 10 out of 10, making this a total of 29.5 out of 30. Would you dare ride Tower of Terror?
I stepped in late through the revolving glass, champagne in the air, and velvet draped like prayer. A bellhop smiled at me like he'd been there for years, never blinked once, just took my coat with care.
Crystal chandeliers burned over empty chairs. A grand piano sang to nobody but the stairs. The marble shone so bright I almost missed the chill. A lightning scar on the wall and the whole house standing still.
The clock above the desk was frozen at 12:10. A voice came through the static, welcome back again.
So that's our ranking of Disneyland Paris's creepiest attractions. Did we get it right? Is Phantom Manor scarier than Tower of Terror? Should the dragon have made the list? And be honest, does It's a Small World secretly terrify you too?
I hope you enjoyed that and thank you for watching.
And remember,
Take a slice
of
Beb's
Life,
Life.
and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.